Okay, right. Good afternoon, all of you. Shall we start? Are there any friends who are going to their lunch? Yes. You can just put them a message. So we wait for a few minutes. Just send them a message. Ask them to come.
Sorry. Okay, until they come, just to remind you about individual assignments. So next week is the due date. I hope you have already started doing this assignment. Please submit it on or before the given deadline. Right? It's not that a difficult task, but I really want a genuine work. Right? Even you can do this by using whatever the AI tool, but that's not what I expect. You can do it by yourself. Do it by yourself and come up with your own ideas and your thoughts based on the things that we discussed in class, and also maybe the things that you search and identify through the examples that you select. And do this by yourself and upload it. At least 2 to 3 pages, that's enough. Right? No need of having lengthy paragraphs, lengthy sentences, no explanations. If the work is really genuine and it's your own work, if it's only 2 to 3 pages, that's okay. Right? And I really know how to identify the genuine work and an assignment which is written by using an AI tool. So 10 marks given to this assignment. Therefore, please try your level best. So to at least score 7 plus marks. So then by the end, when we complete our group assignments, we will end up with, scoring 40 marks in total. So for final exam, you have to only 60. So by that 40, if you can at least score 30 to 35 or more than 35, that's great if you can. Then it's really, helpful for you to have a very good result. Okay. So if you have anything to get clarified in this regard, you can ask me. Otherwise, do this by yourself and not difficult. Just try whether how you analyze this. We are discussing some of the things in today's discussion as well. And some of the areas I have not yet discussed, like SEO, social media marketing, and so on. You can just skip those things, but if you understand and if you can add something, you can add those. Otherwise, you can skip those areas. We have not yet discussed at the class. Marketing promotional strategy, the fourth point we have not yet discussed. Maybe in our next lesson we will be discussing. So,
Madam, excuse me, madam.
Yes, it's not shared, right?
Yes, thank you, madam.
Okay, sorry. Let's share. It's a hybrid class. I always forget on my students. Really sorry.
Thank you, madam. Now can.
Okay. Yes, discussing about this individual assignment. You see here, maybe some of the things. Search engine optimization, we have not yet discussed. The social media marketing, we have not yet discussed. Those have to be discussed in coming 2 to 3 weeks. So if you do not understand, just skip those areas and only concern of the areas that you know and we have already discussed. Okay, that's about individual assignment. So we'll go to the lesson today. And again, so in the report, yes. Report, he can write like related practices if you need any descriptions. Yes, not lengthy descriptions or explanations, but if you think that it's better to explain, say for example, it's something unique for that particular marketplace, then you can explain. So, what is the examples? Revenue model, yes, yeah. Yeah. You can just say that the particular revenue model is this, and in your words, you can explain how it happens within particular seller. Say, for example, if they go with the sales revenue model or advertising, then you can just explain they go with sales revenue and so and advertising. These kind of advertisement they post in their website or portal. In that way, you can explain. Yeah, no problem. Yes. So those are also B2B and B2C platforms. You can select one of the example which is familiar to you. And even if you select 3 things that have their own uniquenesses, that's better. එකම වගේ ඒවා ගන්නවට වඩා චුට්ටක් හරි වෙනස් තුනක් ගත්තොත් මොනවා හරි points වෙනස් ඒවා තියෙනවනේ. So you can be tactful in that case when you select the example. Okay, so today we will continue the same discussion. Last week we were talking about e-business, and today we discussed something about e-business types, revenue models, and so on. I'm continuing the same. Today I'm discussing with you e-markets. So most of these e-businesses do their businesses at e-markets. So the platforms are very familiar for us, same examples. But here we look at the examples in the perspective of markets. And so previously we discussed about businesses. So the perspective of the vendor. So assume that I am the vendor who engage in particular e-business. So we were talking about how it happens. But now we just look at the e-markets, where these business organizations engage in their trading activities. Marketplace is something where buyers and sellers meet, so do their business activities. So what do you mean by e-marketplace? It's simply a marketplace which happens through a digital platform.
So in traditional market is what? It's a place where buyers and sellers meet and they buy and sell goods in traditional. And same thing happens virtually. It is e-market, e-marketplace. There are sellers, there are buyers, but buy and sell goods online. Maybe digital goods, maybe physical goods. The transaction happens online, but the delivery may be physical. If it is a digital good or service, item is also delivered online. We discussed about digital goods previously. So where the transaction happens, if it's online, that is called as e-marketplace. There are a lot of examples that we have, Amazon, eBay. So we experience Ixman.lk, whatever. Those are e-marketplaces. There are buyers and there are sellers. And all the examples that we see are not marketplaces. So those are e-businesses and the companies manage their own platforms. But marketplace, let the sellers to join and let the buyers to join and do their own transactions. It's a marketplace. It's not an e-business. And this is a third party. It's a separate company, but they create the virtual market. Their business is creating a marketplace. Not buying and selling goods. That's the difference between e-marketplace and e-business. In the case of e-business, they do buy and sell. They sell goods to others. But when it comes to marketplace, they don't have their own products. They are providing a service that is giving the facility. In the traditional case, පොල තියෙන තැන දෙන එක වගේ තමයි මෙතන. ඒකට අවශ්‍ය පරිතික දීලා, පොලට අවශ්‍ය කරන ඉඩ සලසලා දීලා, transport facilities දීලා ඕවා අර service provider කෙනෙක් නේ. ඒකම virtually වෙනවා නම් it is called as e-marketplace. So act as a third party intermediaries, facilitate connections and provide various value-added services to streamline process for both parties. So, e-markets support vendors and customers to meet together and do their transactions. These are e-markets. So, how it works? So, we know there should be parties joining in this marketplace. So, they let producers to join and they let buyers to join. So they basically connect parties as a virtual hub. They let all the people join with them and work there. And they are a third party intermediary and it is neutral. So they serve everyone equally and provide the facilities based on the requirements of vendors and buyers when those are needed. And maybe offer some of the facilities to do the transactions for, like listing facilities, searching tools, payment processors, and all the other value-added services. So they can improve their platform. So that's what they do gradually. With the development of technologies, the service provider, so they develop their platform, giving a lot of benefits and services to vendors and buyers. And so marketplace is obviously a multi-seller environment. There's not only one seller, there are a number of sellers who engage in business activities and also diverse range of products and services are offered in some markets are diverse. Whatever the type of goods and services are available in that market. But in some markets, they are not that diverse. They are, specialized, right? So
Here, if you take Amazon, Zara, Depart, those offer wide range of products. But if we take the examples of Etsy and some of the other freelancing services, Upwork, they are specialized, right? So we have some Sri Lankan examples as well. Yes, so we call them as niche markets, and also they offer specialized services. Like, so if you take Etsy, they offer handmade crafts. So in Sri Lanka also we have such kind of specialized marketplaces. I put some examples, you can search on them. And also the convenience is there. It's really easy for vendors to join and also buyers to, visit the market and buy and sell goods. Right? Even assume that you have your own, product. And if you wish to sell this one, you can join in such a market and put your products. So the convenience is there. And when it comes to examples, we can categorize them into few, like general consumer marketplace. So what, as I said previously, whatever the product is available, it's just a general market. පොළ කිව්වහම හැම දෙයක්ම තියෙනවා. දැන් ගත්තාම ඇඳුම් තියෙනවා, කෑමක් තියෙනවා, මස් මාළු තියෙනවා, ඔය හැම දෙයක්ම තියෙනවා. හැරි වලලු තියෙනවා, හැම දෙයක්ම තියෙනවා. ඒවා ඇවිල්ලා general market. And some are niche markets, right? So they offer some of the unique products. So we know Amazon, eBay, you visit these websites, you will see a lot of categories available. So all the type of products available. But if you go to it, say, these are some Sri Lankan examples that I got. E-Kade, craft story, pastries, those are some of the specialized. So crafts, Sri Lankan crafts with the right here. In that. It's niche marketplaces. Niche, cater to a niche market. And also some industry specific marketplaces. So these markets are specialized for particular industries. Maybe they sell industry specific goods and services, or maybe most of them are B2B markets. And so these are some of the examples I just put: B2B.lk, B2B.com, tradebill.com. And so you just want to show you. So only business organizations join. Here B2B.lk is Sri Lanka's leading B2B market. What do you mean by B2B? Business to business. So business to business transactions happen. Business directory and supply discovery platform connecting buyers and sellers, manufacturers and contractors. So they publish advertisements. You see here. Can you think of the revenue models? Advertising revenue, obviously. Then they publish advertisement. And maybe if you join in the company or join in the platform being a business, maybe they go with subscription revenue, or maybe transaction revenue is there. In transaction, so here you see here all vendors list, foreign vendors, services. So, Online student, just give me 1 minute to open the tab. It doesn't touch. See here, there's something else. Jaga is also global procurement platform. So there are a lot of things. Trade bill. It's also an industrial platform. Kind of B2B market. So there are buyers and there are suppliers and the product search options are there. Product categories is here. So you see that one. So they ask you to register, maybe as a buyer or maybe as a seller. Okay, so like that, there are a lot of marketplaces. We can categorize them. So here, how do you have to learn the concept, right? So examples are everywhere, and we are working with all these platforms and all. But we should have the knowledge of understanding the types of these markets, and we can categorize them. You can understand, yes, it's a kind of general market. When you see 1.LK and there are so much, those are general marketplaces. And when you see something special, you understand that it's kind of specific virtual market. That understanding is the learning. Because it gives you a picture of how the particular marketplace happens, and you know how it provides services and all. Okay. Then this is something that we familiar. So we learned about e-business types last week, like B2B, B2C, and so on. And among those, few of the types are considered as e-marketplaces. So the something like B2B, B2C, C2C. So those are markets. When it comes to C2G, B2G, those are not markets. Some business types relevant to markets as well. You see the difference. B2B, there's a business happening. Business to business, business to customer. There's a business. So it can be identified as a marketplace. But in the case of C2G, government to customer to government, there's no business. It's a kind of service-related transaction, or maybe B2G. It's also a business type, virtual business type, B2G, business to government. Business pays taxes, government offers subsidies and all. So there's a transaction happen, but it's not business. And also it's not a market. Only individual transactions that offer. So those types we do not identify as virtual market types, but among them, B2B, B2C, and C2C, these types are market types as well. I hope you understood. ICMA.lk, it's a marketplace. C2C transactions happen there. Okay. And then we can categorize them as horizontal marketplaces, vertical. What comes to your mind when you hear the word horizontal and vertical? Horizontal, you want to what side? Horizontal. Yes. So this is horizontal. And this is vertical. In the horizontal marketplaces, these markets offers wide range of products that may not relevant to a particular business industry or a business. All of it horizontal, diverse products are available. But when it comes to vertical, it is a specialized marketplace, provide facilities or goods and services related to particular supply chain. Right? So what do you mean by the supply chain? Assume that I am a vendor or a business who engage in manufacturing clothes or manufacturing something. So the business organizations or the customers related with that only engage in this particular marketplace. And if that is construction construction industry platform only they join. So special, like for vehicles, there are a lot of marketplaces. You may too have examples of joining with them. So in such marketplaces, maybe that trade might be so. It's about selling vehicles, and it can be identified as kind of vertical, specific in that goods. Automobile industry, taking spare parts, the support services, the manufacturer to the customer, all the services and the products related to that particular industry is offered in that part. But some sales jobs. But when it comes to horizontal markets, everybody is there. Right. And then there are markets, we call them as hybrid markets. So by the word, you can understand. Hybrid one of the recommend here. So in the case of here, hybrid means traditional and online, both. So in these markets, you may order the item virtually and maybe you collect from the traditional store. So vendors and customers, they both know these are available physically, but I can check with the site and I can order it and then I will receive that one. Something like hybrid markets. And yes, global, hyperlocal, these kind of these kind of markets are there. And based on the immediate delivery of goods, so the way that we conduct the business, where the market offer their service may differ. Yes, so these things I will not read again because we know B2B markets, B2C markets, C2C markets, we know. Examples also we discussed. Software vendors and the examples I gave you today also there, right? And horizontal markets, what we just discussed, the experience there offers wide variety of products across many different categories. So you can have your own explanation. You can just confirm that. And then virtual marketplaces specialized in particular products and so on. If you remember one example, and then that's enough. So when you hear the word horizontal, you will remember that example. So then you know how it happens. Hybrid marketplaces, as I told you, and combined elements of online and physical store. And hyperlocal marketplaces focuses on connecting consumers with local vendors for quick delivery within certain geographical area. So it mainly focuses on a particular geographical area. Maybe in the global market, they have this hyperlocal category. And in that case, when you place an order, that will divert to the particular area. At a global platform එකේ ඔයාගේ order එක ශ්‍රී ලංකන් නම් Asian එකට දානවා. ඔන්න ඔය වගේ ඇතුළේ වෙන දෙයක්. ඒක ඒගොල්ලන් ඒක exclusively mention කරලා තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, නැති වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. You receive your order from particular store, maybe from India or maybe South Indian store or whatever. So these are the key features of virtual markets. Product diversity is there, seller onboarding. So seller can join with the platform by himself. No need of sending applications or waiting at the list. So you can join the portal and you can open up your own account and following the instructions. And customer tools can join similarly, and you can see customer reviews and search options are there, filtering facilities are there, and user-friendly interfaces are there. And at the time, these marketplaces ensure the secure payment methods, secure payment gateways. They offer multiple payment options for customers. So customer can decide what method that he select, and depending on that, they facilitate. And inventory management opportunities are there, and third-party integrations are there. Maybe to provide transportation facilities, or maybe to provide some of the banking facilities. So vendors can discuss with the marketplace and make arrangements. So this really important when it comes to global trade, not like in a particular geographical area. In the case of global business, sending goods from one region to the other one, it's something challenging. So we really need the support of the service providers. So they offer opportunities. That's what to say. For buyers, for us, what are the benefits? So whatever the time during the day, we can go to the market and we should not think of our dress. We should not think of the time. We should not think of with whom that we go. So being wherever you are, you can go to the market. So that it's a very good advantage. නේද රාදිස්සෙත් එහෙමනේ හොයනවා බලනවා කාඩ් එකට ඇඩ් කරනවා එහෙමනේ නේද කාඩ් එකේ තියලා තියෙනවා මාසයක් විතර ආයි ඒක අයින් කරනවා ආයි බලනවා so that's how we see a lot of messages comes we compare ඒක කාඩ් එකේ තියලා තව එකක් අමුණා මේක අයින් කරලා අනික දානවා ඕවනේ අපි කරන්නේ නේද ගොඩක් අය ඒ හින්දා ඔය ඒක තමයි අපිට තියෙන facilities the convenience and selection options. Product variety. Lot of products are there. We have the opportunity to compare prices and compare the other options. And very good thing is product reviews. What we do, we read the reviews of existing customers. They say we have the opportunity to rank or give them the choice. And also add them a comment. So those are really important for being buyers. Otherwise, in traditional market engagement, we do not receive that opportunity. ගත්තගෙන යනවනේ අපි දන්නේ නැහැ. කවුරු හරි අම්මෙක් හරි හම්බෙලා මෙතන ඉඳ ගත්තේ හොඳයි කියලා කිව්වොත් තමයි we get the message. But in virtual markets, we can see the comments from different customers. And comparison tools, personalized experiences, messaging, communication. So those are the benefits that we get. So for sellers, obviously, they get a very good platform to sell their products. So those are very user-friendly and easy onboarding. There are no problem of getting into the market. And they get the opportunity to customize their portal based on the facilities available at particular virtual market. And inventory management opportunity is the most important with sales analytics. So in your account, you can see how the things happen and how many orders that you have received and from what countries that you have received them and how about the choice of customers and what are the most traded items. Those are the really important for decision making. So if we traditionally do this one, we normally do not keep record unless only the financial things. We may count the revenue and the cost, but we may not think of other factors that are really important for us to make decisions. So analytics is something really important and facilitate when we are working with these virtual markets and virtual business platforms. And for platform owner, what they get? So they do have, lot of opportunities, and they can get the support from many of the other parties and develop their marketplaces, and many vendors join with them and customers join with them, and they can offer the lot of facilities and customized options to the vendors and customers. And also they have to think of the security aspect. This is one of the most important things in virtual business. So here, even in research, what we have noticed is mainly when it comes to developing country context, we are really, worried and serious of these security matters. So people are afraid of making online payment. Why that? With the knowledge and also with the understanding, with the lack of understanding on how these things happen, we are very serious on payment gateways and selecting payment methods. We still love to pay, we still love to go with cash on delivery methods. Just think of yourself, when you order something online, maybe that if you have two options to pay at the time or to pay as cash on delivery, you may go with cash on delivery. Because we have a small doubt until we receive the item. So the market, if you manage a marketplace, the marketplaces, they have to ensure the security of the payment gateways. And they can get linked with the banks and other organizations who support these facilities and ensure the security of that. And they can go with order management systems, linking with some of the other business organizations who provide ERPs. So likewise, they can improve these platforms. So there's something being made. Yes, small example. Discussion. So we'll do this very quickly. Take a small piece of paper and do it. Right. So now you can write right before. Read this one and just write few points and the answer. Many businesses now operate through e-marketplaces rather than maintaining their own online stores. Considering the different types of e-marketplaces, what advantages and challenges do organizations face in joining this platform? We are thinking of the perspective of vendor organizations. For organizations, what are the goods and bads of joining with the e-market? That's what you have to think. Produce without having your own virtual marketplace, why you go for the market? Own virtual business, why you go for the marketplace? So what are the goods and bads of that? Let's write at least 3 points each. 3 goods, 3 bads. 3 In your final research, it is mandatory for you to go with an account, finance fund, so it's open. Auditing related, when it comes to these subjects, there are a lot of research problems. You can see something and, your final year research as well. And if the requirement is on accounting, increase accounting, yes. No, they don't encourage, right? Yes, as it is under value. In that case, when you select in the research type topic, just think of something interesting, right? Have you already selected the research title? Okay, maybe that you are going with the research proposal development. Yes, because when it comes to research work, if you select something interesting, you actually do that one. Otherwise, it becomes trouble. Everyone have to write, right? Daniel another. Sampai මේ අවුරුද්ද යන හැටි මේ අවුරුද්ද අවුස්සෙන් ළමයිගේ ආර්ට්ස්වලනේ. ඔව් ළමයි අවුරුද්ද යනවා. මම ඉන්නේ කැප්ටන් කෙනෙක් ඉඳන් ඒ පැනල් එකේ නේම තමයි යන්නේ. අනිත් පැත්තට කොටිලා අපි එකවුන්ට් එකේ ඉන්නවනේ. ඒගොල්ලන් ඉස්සර සැලරි 6 අය කරලා තමයි ගොඩක් ටික. ඒ සයිස් එක. Malahari liyan na lamay. When you get it, write it. Then you will remember.
So now these are the chances I just give you to test yourself. හරිද? මේවා ඇත්තටම ප්‍රශ්න නෙමෙයි. මේවා පොඩි ලේස් ඒවානේ. මේ වගේම කිසි බලන්න ඕනේ කන්නේ ඇත්තටම උත්තර ලියන්න පුළුවන්. So I just want to test yourself when you can understand whether I am on the track. It's not available, right? For online students, I just want to see whether you have any chance to submit the answers. Next day, I will create a Padlet portal and you can submit to the panel. Reduce the cost reduces. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to find another point. පොඩ්ඩක් විස්තර කරලත් එහෙම ලියන. ඒක හොඳයි ඉතින්. ඕගොල්ලන් දැන් ගොඩක් ලාට ආන්සර්ස් වල අඩුයිනේ. ගොඩක් දැන් අපි ආන්සර්ස් බලනකොට දැන් හිතන්නකො ෂෝට් මේ දැන් මෙහෙම කියනවානේ. දැන් මම දන්නවා මේක මේ වෙලාවටනේ දැන් ක්ලාස් එකේ උත්තරය ලියන්න කිව්වහම මෙහෙම ලිව්වම ඇති. හරිද? හැබැයි එක්සෑම් එකේදී මේකම අහුවොත් මේක මෙහෙම නෙමෙයි ලියන්න ඕනේ. අඩුම දන්න අර ඔය ලියන විදිහට ලියන්න ඕනේ. ලකුණු ගන්න බලගන්න. නේද? ඒකයි. දැන් මම මේ ලියන්න දෙන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලියනවා මොනවා හරි ලියලා ටෙස්ට් කරගන්න අසල. ඒක මම කියන්නේ මේක ඕගොල්ලෝම ටෙස්ට් කරගන්න. දන්න ඒවා ටික ඉගෙන ගන්න. ඒ හින්දා මේ හොඳයි. හරිද එහෙනම්? ලියනවා දැන් ඉතින්. ලියන්න. මොකක්ද ලියන්න. හොඳයි. සමහර උත්තරවලට උත්තරේ කොමන්ට් එක අතර යුනික් කියලා කියනවා. ඒක තමයි ඔයාලගේ තියෙන ස්පෙෂැලිටි එක. ඒක මම කියන්නේ ලියන්න. happiness actually. මේ කියපුවා කතා කරපුවා මොනවද නැතුව අනිත් ඒවා තියෙනකොට it really motivates. එතකොට ඒ ළමයි ඒවා හිතගන්නේ ඕගොල්ලෝ ඒවා හිතගන්නේ that is my learning. මේකේ තියෙන වින් එකේ මගේ කොටස තමයි ඒක. දැන් ඔයගලන්ට ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියලා මෙතන උත්තර 10ක් බැලුවොත් 10න් එක හරි අලුත් ඒවා එනවා. නාදයි. Okay, so with that, we'll go to the next slide. Online students, I think that you two have completed. We have discussed about the advantages and disadvantages or the challenges that the vendor face when it comes to a virtual market. Yes, in these two slides, I have given you some of the answers. So you may have written the same or something different, right? So you can add this point to your answer. Wide market rate, lower marketing cost, setup cost, you have written many of the things. Operational efficiency, data insights, analytical capabilities, and flexibility and scalability. Flexibility scale up because they provide the opportunity. So whatever the level that your company grow, you can go with them. Because you don't have any, you don't have to worry about hosting the site or whatever. Everything is there. You have to make the subscription and go with the facilities. Yes. And these are some of the challenges that a vendor may face. Just compare with your answer. High competition, yes. Many of the competitors are there. Commission fee that you have to payment. And limited branding. You can't do whatever the things as you wish. It's limited. If you have your own site or if you have your own place, then you can do whatever the thing that you do. Wish. But here you depend on platform rules. There are rules and regulations you have to comply with that. And data ownership issues comes because the platform gets all data, and sometimes you may confused on what happens to my data. Maybe think of whether others too get the your data as well. So there are some privacy concerns as we are in somewhere's place, and also all the details may not you may not get the chance to access all data, and logistical constraints, and maybe the fake reviews. Some of you have written these things. ඔයගොල්ලෝ අපේ කියව කියනෝනේ හොඳ නැහැ කියලා දානවනේ කවුද දැම්ම කියලා අපිට හොයන්න බැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ reviews හොඳ වගේම නරකක් තියෙනවා. අනිත් පැත්තට ගහන අනිත් එක එකක් දාපුවාම ඊට පස්සේ ඔක්කොම ඒ විදිහට දානවා. අපි ඒක දකින්නේ social media marketing වලදී we will discuss that part. When we post something, first few comments are really important. If talk something good in first few comments, others also put in something in that way. But if first few comments are bad, ඔක්කොම නරක comment කියන්නේ. In so there are some good and bad of those. Okay, so let's go for an option. Shall we continue without the frame? And I will wind up by Google. Okay. Break එකක් නැතුව පැය භාගයක් කලින් හරින්නත් නැත්නම් කමක් නැහැ නේද? දෙගොල්ලන්ටම I have another lecture, so 30 minutes break. තාපොඩි වැඩේ තියෙනවා ඒ නිසා හැම කරමු. Right. So what do you mean by an option? But you have to listen, right? රතන මේ කතා කරනවා readily. Miss last එක ඉස්සරහට ගත්තා නේද? එන්න කොමනේ ඉස්සරහ තියන ඉදිරි පෙළ ආසෝ ඉස්සරහ හදින්නේ. මේ එක දැනගෙන අපි පටියේ නතර. මේ කවුරුත් නැති just think of yourself now. උගන්නන වෙලාවේ වෙන වෙන ඒවා කතා කරනකොට ඔයාගේ ඔළුව ගැන හිතන්නකො දුක් වෙන්න ඕනේ අතට. එච්චරක්වත් concentrate කරන්න බැරි නම් නේ? එච්චරක්වත් concentrate කරන්න බැරි නම් මොකක්ද ඒක? එතකොට කොයි වෙලේද ඉගෙන ගන්නෙ? You have very limited time for you to study. And you have paid for this. That's why I am bothering. Keval tiyenne, ati kevala tiyenne. When kawuru karne me. Ammala gewanne, taastala gewanne. වැඩ කරලා අම්බ කරලා gewanne. වෙන එකකට gewanne තියෙන එක නේ. And the other most important thing, so in the university time period, you have already sacrificed this time, these 3 hours. You don't have any other option. මේ වෙලාවේ ගිහිල්ලා එළියට යන්න ගියත් නැහැ. පන්ති ඇතුළට already ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ. So be with the discussion and get the maximum. And don't waste any other later time for this purpose. That's why I'm always telling. මේ class එකේ මේ වෙලාවේ මේ පැයකට ඉන්නවනම් ආයි මේ subject එකට මේ පාඩමට time එකක් ඕනේ නැහැ. So you listen what we discuss and you do the activity and you go home. That's enough. So it's enough for the lifetime. You are not required to go through these contents. Right. So that style you should have already improved, because now we are in 3rd year. Not second year or first year. If this BSAA is first year, I will accept. But now we are very close at final year. You don't have time to rest. And also you have to be very thankful, because most of you are employed. You don't have time to study completely by this time. So if you follow that thing, at the end of the semester, you know what are the subjects that you have to focus on. You can easily skip this subject. Make a kind of bonus subject. You will not get you are very lucky because we are doing currently the curriculum division. This time, Colombo University is doing the accountancy department. So, the next batch who comes to the degree will go with new curriculum. Right now, the first year students are also going with the same curriculum, and the newcomers in next year or the next intake will go with the new curriculum. So the subjects will be changing in the contents are changing and so on. But as I saw, somewhat advanced, right? And the things are not that easy. So, but it will really, beneficial for them because with the contemporary changes, we have to enrich the curriculums. So normally we revise curriculums for each 5 weeks. එකක් හදලා batch 4ක් යවලා ඊළඟ batch එකට අලුත් එකක් කියන්නේ not totally different minor revisions improvements ගේනවා. දැන් හිතන්නකො මේකෙදි මම ඔයගලට කිව්වා වගේ MIS එකයි මේකයි contents some of the time එක වගේ. ඒකට අපි කරන්නේ ඊළඟ සැරේ ඒවා වෙනස් කරලා ඒක අලුත් ඒවා ගේනවා ඒක. වගේ improvements කරනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ subjects ඇවිල්ලා හරිම ලේසියි. මේක මට credit දෙකක් නේද? 3 credits. You see, you can easily have a pass for this one. Because half of the subject we have already learned and half of the subject we experience. Only thing you have to map with the concept and the examples. That's why I'm always telling, think of the examples and learn the concept. Then at the examination, I will give you meaningful cases like what I'm giving you. Then you can easily score. Okay, right. So what is an option? Option එකක් කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? සිංහලෙන් නම් වෙන්දේසිය. How it happens? How an auction happens? In physically, have you seen an auction? Have you seen an auction physically? දැකලා නැද්ද? අහලා තියෙනවා. Auctions. So an auction is a kind of marketplace that connects buyers and sellers to trade goods and services. Also a kind of. So what we do, we bid. අපි ගාණක් කියනවා product එකකට. Okay. So the auction continues maybe for a certain time period. At a time it closes. Maybe it's an open bid or a close. We openly, demand. And at the end it decides who is getting the product. Maybe the highest price will get the product. The person who offers the highest price will get the product. Or maybe it's a close bid. In that case, we don't know the prices of others, but we declare the price that we can offer, and finally, product is, delivered to the person who offered the highest bid, or maybe the first bid. It depends on the rules and regulations of the auction, allowing for dynamic prices and access to large market. Enable users to bid on item in real time through creating a competitive environment. So these are for specialized markets for art, real estate, financial instruments, stock exchange. So there are a lot of examples in virtual auctions in Sri Lanka. I just put these examples, you can go there. Even if the fund and eBay, the same thing happens, right? You can ask, so the product is there and we ask for prices. And you can, disclose our price. And finally, the person who offered the highest price will be getting the product. Okay. So these are about global auctions. So in that case, the global reach is there and dynamic prices, variety of goods, and not that different from e-market. This is also an e-market. Only thing is the way it conduct is different.
And when the item is sold, it's done. So these are the types, standard or eBay style auctions. And in that case, the person who gives the highest price will get the product. And in the case of serial bid, what I told you previously, in that case, the prices will submit personally or privately. And then the item is awarded based on maybe rules, maybe for the highest price, or maybe the first bid. Or what? ඒගොල්ලන් දාලා තියෙන නීති අනුව තමයි ඔක්කොම. සීල් බිඩ් එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ඒකෙදි ඩිස්ක්ලෝස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ prices අනිත් අයට. ප්‍රසිද්ධ වෙන්නේ විකුණනවා කියලා අර ඔයගොල්ලන් දැකලා ඇති නේද? ඒකම virtually වෙන එක තමයි මෙතන කරන්නේ. right? අර දැන් අපි නිකන් සිංහලෙන් අපේ ලංකාවේ කියනවානේ ඔය කත්සරම් බඩු එහෙම බැංකු වලින් දාන්නේ ප්‍රසිද්ධ වෙන්නේ විකුණනවා මෙන්න මේ දවසට කියලා. එතකොට වෙන්නේ එදාට කට්ටිය එනවා ගණන් කියලා අහනවා වැඩිම ගන්න ලංසුවක් කියනවා කියලා ඔබට කියන්නේ මිට් එක කියන්නේ ලංසුව. ඒ වැඩිම ලංසුවට ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක දෙන්න. ඕක virtually වෙන්නේව තමයි මෙතන. අපි පික් කරනවා. මම මේ ගාට කට් එක ගන්න හිතන්නකො මොකක් හරි gold item එකක් කියලා same thing මේ මේ sites වලට මම දාලා තිබ්බට ඉතින් බලන්නකො ඔයගලගේ කරපු එතකොට highest price එකට දෙනවා. ඒකට අනිත් අය ගන්නවා. ඒකයි දාලා තියෙන price open auction. අනිත් එක තමයි sealed bid auction. sealed bid auction එකේ ඒක open කරන්නේ නැහැ prices අනිත් අය. ඒක රහසින්. දැන් ඔය most of the government auctions government එකේ ඔය contracts අනුමතන දෙනවා යන්නේ sealed. ඒකට disclose කරන්නේ at the certain time. All the bidders are invited and in front of them envelopes open කරලා ඒක දෙනවා. ඒක තමයි කරන්නේ rules එකට. So if it happens virtually, that is virtual sealed bid auction. And the ascending ascending bid auction, bids increase from the starting price and the auction continues until no more bids are received. ඔය තමයි වෙන්නේ අර පාන්සල් එහෙම වෙන්දේසි වලට මල් වට්ටිය එහෙම වෙන්දේසි කරන්න කියලා අහලා තියෙනවනේ. අහලා තියෙන එක එක පාර්සල් වලදී ස්ටාර්ට් කරලා ඊළඟ එකට තව ගාණක් කියනවා. ඊළඟ එකට තව ගාණක් කියනවා. So it goes until the highest price. So when it comes to the maximum, if there's no any other person offers something more than that, it goes to the person who offered the last price. ඒක තමයි ascending bid auction. So if everything happens virtually, it is e-auction. මේක traditionally වෙනවා. එකම දේ තමයි. මේකට මේ better you go to these examples, right? මේ තියෙන මේවා කියන්නකො. As it is restricted, as I'm showing you, Lanka auction, Sri Lanka, auction, one of the good examples, Sri Lanka. And Lanka bids.com custom, Sri Lankan custom again over. As one is yes, so these are for general goods and also for specialized goods, maybe for the property, or maybe for financial markets like stock market. Stock market is key marketplaces we discussed, B2C, B2B, and regional markets. What is this? And this is only the new thing. Regional means by the name we can understand. It is an e-market, but caters only for a specific region. That's why we call it as regional market. Maybe I don't know whether these examples are correct. Maybe Daras or if Kapru only caters within Sri Lanka, it's a kind of region. As I know, they caters within Sri Lanka. Daras called. I'm not sure. Daras is only Sri Lanka. Customers. Is it only Sri Lanka? I just checked it. I couldn't find. But as they said, it's a part of Alibaba, but the largest platform operates in Sri Lanka. They have it Bangladesh too. Okay, maybe. So we can consider as regional. That's true. In Bangladesh and Asia, Sri Lanka. So such markets are regional. Okay, so we then move towards the next section of the lesson. It is about customers and customers' online behavior. So far, we were talking about virtual markets. Now, why customer behavior is that important in the case of e-business? So, this sentence is important, as I have highlighted here, to understand consumer psychology, adopt strategies, and enhance customer satisfaction and loyalty in the evolving landscape. So, in the case of virtual markets, everything depends on consumers' behavior. Because you have to listen now, otherwise I'll give a break. Break එකක් දෙන්නද? නැත්නම් activity එකක් දෙන්නද? Activity එකක් නැත්නම් බලලා present කරන්න කියන්න. Really easy option for me. එක දවසක් එහෙම කරා. Last time මට හම්බෙලා තියෙනවා SAP එකේ. SAP එකේ එක batch එකක් මට හම්බුණා. කොච්චර කිව්වත් අහන්නේ නැහැ. අහන්නෙම නැහැ. මම හිතන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. මාර්ග behavior එකක් ඒ batch එකේ තිබුණේ. කනවා. කෑමට කමක් නැහැ කිව්වොත් දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මෙතෙක් ඇවිල්ලා මොනවාද ගෙනල්ලා කනවා. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි ට්‍රැඩිෂනල් යුනිවර්සිටි සිස්ටම් එකේ තියෙන ඇක්සෙස්. ඒක විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ අනිත් අයට නමුත් අපි ඒක ඕපන්ලි කමන්නේ නැහැ බඩගින්න අපිනේ. බඩගින්න අහන්නේ බෑ කියලා අපි දෙනවා. Depends on the lecturer, right? සමහර දෙන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් මම personally ඔයාලා කෑවට මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. හරි අනිත් එක කරදරයක් වෙන්න බෑ. දැන් කතා කරනවා ඒක වෙනම එකක්. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක පීක් එකට ආවා කරන්නම බෑ කියන දේ අහන්න බෑ. එහෙම නැතුවා විනාඩි 15ක් දුන්නා මේ ඉතුරු ටික බලලා ප්‍රොසෙස් කරන්න. Then they understand how difficult this is. තේරෙනවද? Not that easy, right? So if you do not support, it's not easy for me to discuss because there's no motivation. මම කල්පනා කරනවා මොකටද මම කෑ ගහන්නේ. So you have to have the self-discipline. Now the word is self-discipline. Your discipline matters the most. So you have to have very good discipline. Otherwise, it's questioning. Right? So what shall we do now? Shall I give an activity? Yes, we'll do. Okay. For this section, one activity, right? You have to go through and give me the answer. Just give me a few minutes. Until that, you can go through the slides. Please go through the slides. You have to do this activity. I will love it. This one. Okay, we'll write the answer for this one. Do this one. Everyone have to write. I will check that. Keep it in write this one. This is now about buyers. Previously, we were thinking of vendors and the sellers of the markets. Now you have to think of buyers because the consumer behavior aspect is about buyers. Previously, we talked about vendors. Now you think of yourself, consumers online buying behaviors, heavily influenced by jobs to adopt these technologies. What factors most strongly influence consumers' decision to adopt or reject e-commerce platforms? So you just go through the slides. So you will find some answers and you come up with your answers. Online students, please do this. So everyone have to write. That's right. So write both. Yes. What motivates you to reject? In the case of making a decision, we have something in favor and also to the other side. But depending on the situation, we decide whether we buy or not. එතකොට ඒ points ටික ලියන්න දෙපැත්තටම තියෙනවා. Okay, what are the things or the difficulties or the codes, challenges that you face? It's about why the government might get e-business. So why I'm not saying why you are not willing to engage So this question asks the boss, right? What more strongly influence customers' decisions to adopt or reject? You have to think of why I adopt with these e-commerce platforms and why I reject.
Okay, some students have written both things together. Right, so in that case, you have to write separately. Yeah. You can see this. Gas is under right separate. And then on in the other day, the most cooperative works we have to go plant and seeds. And it's disturbing because I am telling you actually this is a real story. Either විභාගයේ ලියනකොට සමහර වෙලාවට දන්නේ මේවා දන්නේ නැහැ. හොඳට දන්න එක නමුත් ඔළුවට එන්නේ නැහැ උත්තරේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් එකක් මතකයි ඊළඟ පොයින්ට් එක මතක නැහැ. ක්ලාස් එකේ මේක ලෙක්චර් එක කතා කරා කියලා මතක නැහැ. ඒනට ඒක දන්නේ නැහැ. මොකක්ද කියලා. ඔය වගේ දාලා රිසර්ච්. දැන් මේක කතා කරනවා. ඔයාගේ ඔළුවට ඒක යනවා පිච් එක but you don't get the real thing. එතකොට ඒක ඇතුළත හිස්. දැන් අපි e-markets ගැන කතා කරලා මම question එකක් දෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලන් දන්නවා e-markets වල දැන් regional markets එක අපි කතා කරන්නේ. හැබැයි ඔයා ඒ වචනේ ගන්නවා ඇතුළ මොකක්ද කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වෙන්නේ මොකද හරියට store වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරි දුක් කතා කරන වෙලේ හරියට store කරගත්තේ නැත්නම් ඕක retry කරද්දි tag එක එනවා complete නැහැ. දැන් store කරොත් හරියට ගන්න ලේසි. just think of your මොකක්ද ගෙදර තියෙන ඇඳුම් කබඩ් එක මම ළමින්ට ඕකමයි කියන්නේ. මතක් කරගන්න. ඒක නැත්නම් පොත් රාක්කේ මතක් කරගන්න. හරියට පිළිවෙලට ලස්සනට අවුරලා තියනවා නම් ආපහු එකක් තෝරගන්න ලේසි. රීට්‍රයි කරන්න ලේසි. ඒක තියෙන්නේ කිස්සන් කොටුව වගේ නම් ඒක අන්මත් තෝරන්න මුළු කබඩ් එකම එළියට දාන්න ඕන. එක පොතක් ගන්න මුළු කබඩ් එකම එළියට දාන්න. එහෙම තමයි. විභාගෙට ගිහින් ප්‍රශ්න ආවම කොහෙන්ද තියනවා කියලා දන්නව ඔළුවට දෙන්න. ඒක ලස්සනට ඇසෙම්බල් වෙලා ගන්න. Then Harina serious. Exam weeks here no what. That's why I'm telling at the beginning I told you you have to be very serious. Right? Exam again on the result you check the specialty. They are what the core competencies they have. Same so it depends on how you behave even at the class. So these are so important. Because we are not students every day. And also we become managers, accountants in future. And the behavior matters. Just think of medicine students. Even since day one, they behave as doctors. When the results come, since that day, they think he or she is a doctor. They behave as doctors. So one day we will become accountants, managers. So we have to behave as them. Assume that you want to become a lecturer one day. So can you become a lecturer soon after graduation? You can get the appointment, but you can't become a good lecturer. Because you have to practice for that. Then it's good to think so I have to start now. I have to, assess the way all the lecturers are doing their deliveries. They will improve the You have to have a goal. In 5 years, I will be such a person. ඒකට යන්න දැම්ම හැදෙන්නේ එහෙම එකපාරට මැනේජර් කෙනෙක් වුණාම ගිහිල්ලා ඉඳගනි මීටින් එකට ආවම ඔක්කොමත් එක්ක කල්ලි ගහනවා කෑ ගහනවා හැමදේම ඉතින් ඒක අතහැර ගන්න බෑ දැන් කැම කන එකත් එහෙමයි සමහර ළඟින් they don't have any discipline හැමදේම කනවා හැම වෙලේම කනවා ඒකට කන එක තියනවා it's not good කතා කරන එකත් එහෙමයි self discipline is the number one. හැමතැනම ඕක තමයි බලන්න. අනිත් එක හැම වෙලේම විශ්වාස කරන්න. ඔයාගේ behavior එක මේ ඉන්න හැමෝම මේක observe කරනවා. ඔයාව ඒ තැනට ගෙනියනවා. ඔයා ඇත්තටම හොඳ නම් වංකයි නම් හදිසියට ඇස්ලෙනවා නම් ඔයා දන්නේ නැතුවම ඔයාගේ targets වලට ඔයා යනවා. Right? So being a student, please try to practice those. Then you will be rewarded one day. On that. Think of the other side as our class steps both sides you have to do, right? Okay, the examination, if a question specifically asked, you have to see it. So right now, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to an examination, we give marks separately, so you have to be very tactful in that case. Writing answers for examination questions, you have to always think of marks allocated for the question. If I give this kind of question at the examination for 10 marks, I expect you to write at least 3 points each for both sides. And yes, I will give 5 marks each for both. If you have written the answer together, even you will be getting marks, but for the students who have separated it, will be given 1 or 2 additional marks. Okay, right. Then we'll continue. So just to give you a small feedback on writing answers. If you get this kind of question at the examination, can I have a master? Yes. So this is the way I expect, right? So just to share with you all, if I ask this kind of question at the examination for 10 marks, as I told you, I will allocate 5 each. So majority of you have written separate answers, but the presentation, I really appreciate if you give it in this way, right? So you give the good things, why I motivate, you write the fact and a short explanation, right? And accordingly, if you write at least 3 points, that's enough. Based on the number of marks the question is allocated, right? So many of you have explained even, but this way really helps examiner. It depends, and majority of examiners really like to see the smart answers. And point එක කිව්වා පොඩි එකකින් explain කරා. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන් explain කරලා තියෙනවනේ ගොඩක් අය. ඒක කමක් නැහැ. Depends on questions. But for this kind of subject, technology management, point එක දැන් points වල දෙන විදිහත් බලන්නකො. මම උනත් slides වල දාන්න point එක දාලා පොඩි explanation එක. An example. දැන් ඒ විදියම කරගෙන යන්න. මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට කියලා උදාහරණයක් ලියුවා නම් you get the
all 10 marks. And the example like a Laskandara, point take a book, put that explain and okay, those are examples. Section maybe with the question. So these things motivate us. We have a lot of mobile applications, social media marketing. We have and here something additional that I added for you to understand. There are a lot of models that explain consumer behavior. So what do you mean by a model? Model is what? Model is it's a kind of presentation or a sample. කොහොමද explain කරන්න පුළුවන්? අනුරුවක් කියන්නේ මොඩල් එක කියලා කියන්නේ ඒක පෙන්නන එකක්. දැන් හිතන්නකො එහෙම නැත්නම් graph එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් overall picture is shown in one image. Or the relationship between something is shown with charts and boxes. Model summary, the kind of summary of the overall picture. So one good example is Google Map is a kind of model, virtual model. In the Google Map, the whole world, the geographical appearance is given in an application. So it's a model. නැත්නම් අපි කියමුකෝ ප්ලේන් එකක මොඩල් හදලා තියෙන කාර්ස් වල තියෙන මොඩල්ස් ඒ කාර් වල මොඩල්ස් හරි ස්ටැටිස්ටික්ස් යන්නේ ඒ විදියමයි ඒකේ පොඩි version. Because you get the abstract version of the whole picture. So, and simple example, what you know very well is demand and supply model, market equilibrium. Think of market equilibrium. So it comes to your mind right now, right? So it's something, it's a kind of model because the how demand and supply happens in the market and how those are intersect and design the equilibrium is shown in one picture. මේකෙන් එහෙමනේ දැන් මේක මතක් වෙන්න ඕනේ අපි කියන්නේ demand and supply model එක අඳලා මේක අඳනම මේකේ ලොකු කතාවක් කියනවා. It talks about overall market. This is about demand, this is about supply, and this is how the price is decided. And also in the economics, another model that you know is this one. Do you know this one? PPC model? Production possibility frontier, or the term it shows that the possibility of producing goods in a country, something like that. So similarly, we have a lot of models. Have you heard of Porter's 5 forces model? Very familiar for us. Porter's 5 forces model. So Porter have come up with a model to explain how market competitiveness happens. Being an organization in the market, if you wish to analyze market competitiveness, you can simply use Porter's 5 forces model. And SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, kind of models. So why these models we use is to get the overall picture of a kind of situation or something. So similarly, we have a lot of models to explain technology adoption. You may have heard of TAM model, technology acceptance model. So this TAM models, technology acceptance model, explain how consumers adopt and technology. Right? In the case, so assume that you are doing a research on consumer acceptance of a particular technology, can be an ideal model that you can use in your research. You can select data on these variables and you see the relationships. So in your final year research, you are trying to solve a kind of problem. Assume that you want to see the impact of using particular technology on consumer behavior or something, buying behavior of customers. Then you use the SHAM model in your research. You try to, operationalize it using TAM model, which TAM is something already proven and very popular in the world. And everybody accept, yes, this happens. What it says in the technology acceptance model, the researcher says the actual use of technology, say for example, you are using a particular cloud computing technology or whatever, it depends on these factors. And main thing is perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. And it creates the attitudes and it leads to your behavioral intention and finally you change. Then අලුත් technology එකක් ඔයා accept කරන්න අපි දැන් අර කිව්වේ කතා ටික මේවා හින්දා තමයි මම මේක use කරන්නේ මේවා හින්දා තමයි මම මේක use කරන්නේ නැත්තේ කියලා අන්න ඒ වගේ ඒවා research කරලා එයා අන්තිමේ පාගෙන තියනවා මෙහෙම model එක. එතකොට මේක කාටවත් බොරු කියලා කියන්න බෑ because this is proven in hundreds and thousands of times in research. So what do you mean by this perceived usefulness, the extent to which the consumer believes the technology will be helpful. ඔයා හිතනවා නම් මේක මට helpful කියලා you get into the technology. Right? And the perceived ease of use, the extent to which the consumer believes the technology is free of effort to use. So you are not required to put a big effort to use that, right? Then you get into that technology. So if those two factors are there, a consumer will think of using that technology. And then it creates an attitude. මේක හොඳයි කියන එක ඔළුවට එනවා. Then you just think of the Google applications that we use, cloud computing. It's an example for cloud computing. We have Google Drive and we have Google email, just think of OneDrive for Google. Then why we use those facilities? There are people, they don't use. We use OneDrive because I know it's really easy for me to manage my documents. And also I know there's no big effort. I can only create an account and then I can easily go that route. Then it creates a positive attitude towards using it. And then behavioral intention. So the intention comes to open up an account and then I actually do it. Right? So this model shows, and there are some external factors. But these are the main and some external factors also. So this model explains how a person get motivated to get adopt with the technology. So these kind of models are used in research to justify our research problems. So in your research, you will use one or two of these models, theories. We call them as research theories or models. So it justifies our cases. So one day you will use Porter's 5 forces model to analyze market competitiveness because it justifies your analysis. ඔයාට ඕන විදිහට ඔයා ඇනලයිස් කරනවා market competitiveness එක. ඇනලයිස් කරලා ඔයාගේ බොස්ට දෙනවා report එක. ඒ වගේම තව කෙනෙක් he use Porter's 5 forces and analyze the environment and give the report. But it's more acceptable the other one. Because it is already justified and it's proven that it's a very good model to assess the market competitiveness. And similarly, these kind of models add value to your work. When you do your research in final year, you have to go with the model or a theory. You call them theories and models. Like this one, UTAUT model or the theory, Unified Theory of Acceptance and User Technology. Again, there is another theory. Same thing.
is explained in different ways. Behavioral intention is dependent on few other factors. Another researcher says, this is what we do in research. So we come up with something new, so the models develop. And then we used to justify those in our cases. Here, expectation confirmation theory. Likewise, there are model, diffusion innovation models. So I just wanted to add these to give you an understanding in a case that you have to analyze consumer behavior and always try to go with this kind of model because it's really helpful and validated to analysis. So in e-business, commerce, technology management, we may find many cases to analyze real-world scenarios. So sometimes it's difficult for us to understand the relationships which those variables have. So these models support us. They can think of applying the particular model in my case. Then I see the real picture. So in that case, what you do, you collect data, maybe through a survey questionnaire. You add few questions for these variables. You create few questions. There are a lot of survey questionnaires available online for these models. So you get it and put it in your sample and get the feedback and analyze your case and you see the relationship. And you come out with results. So just understand that there are already tested models and theories that support us to understand consumer behavior. So in the case of virtual business, virtual marketplaces, to understand consumer behavior, you can get the support of these models as well. So being a vendor or a member of a managing team of a virtual business, one day, those will be really helpful for you when you make decisions, because our job is always making decisions. And so then in all the time, we have to think of how I justify my decision. Maybe you are operational level first professional, or maybe middle level or top level. Every day you make decisions. So always you have to come up with some justification or some validation of your decision. So that there is where these models important. And in your research methodology, you will learn about theories and theoretical application in research. So this is something related to that. Okay. So this is the last part of our discussion. What do you mean by this? Profiling, maybe as well. What do you mean by profiling? We have our own profiles in different platforms, in different accounts, maybe Facebook profile, WhatsApp, or Instagram, or Google Scholar, ResearchGate, so whatever, LinkedIn. So, what includes there? The profile tells about yourself. So you have social media, say for example, Facebook profile. It's like different because it's a kind of social media application and different from LinkedIn, and you may provide related information. And when it comes to your LinkedIn profile, different from Facebook, and you provide the professional information and all related things related to those people. And so similarly, in virtual business, in these e-markets, these service providers create consumer profiles through the information that they acquire. So when we go to the supermarket, they ask whether you have an account or a loyalty card. Number is when we go to the supermarket, so if we have already created an account, we give the number. So that is the profile. That's profiling. So in my case, maybe that I created the profile many years ago, and since then, up to date,
all the information about myself is there. My buying behaviors and the products I buy and the time I come to the supermarket and the days and the items. ඔක්කොම දියනවා. මම වැඩිපුර ගන්නේ මොකද්ද? මම කැමති මොනකටද? Right? So they have every information about the consumer. So that is profiling. So in virtual business, organization creates profile because it's really important. Based on that, they make decisions. So if you go to, as I discussed about Keels, if you go to Keels and Colombo area, the products at shelves is different if you go to the Keels at somewhere else. Another, because the demand of the consumer is different. So they analyze everything and they analyze the products and they decide to what cell the particular product is placed depending on the demand. ඉස්සරහින්ම මොකද්ද තියන්නේ පිටිපස්සට මොකද්ද දාන්නේ කියලා decide කරන්නේ එතන ඉන්න ළමයා නෙමෙයි. ඒවා ඔක්කොම ඒ store එකට ඒගොල්ලන් analyze කරනවා. And also you get the messages about offers and everything. It's based on your consumer buying behavior. So profiling is gathering information and creating a profiling and analyzing consumer behavior, preferences and motivation and all. So this happens. And we too, we understand that we have profiles in wherever. Right? Maybe in supermarket, maybe with insurance companies, maybe with banks. So our profiles are maintained. So they gather behaviors, buying patterns, socio-economic things, demographic, geographic, psychographic things. So based on the information, we can go for different analysis. Something like that. So they decide whether we are a loyal customer or not. And based on that, we get the offers and so on. With the time, we become loyal customers. And we get some offers. So they have normally these information. Your age and your location, maybe your hobbies or maybe your income. They guess, right? Based on your spending pattern, they can, think of the revenue of the consumer. There are models, right? So we call, you will learn in future when you do research, when you have a particular cost component, we can predict the income. If you spend this much of amount for consumable goods, how will be your income? So there are, models to predict, and your favorites, maybe on groceries or clothes, and how you visit, maybe Friday or Saturday or Friday, Saturday, or in every Wednesday afternoon or whatever, everything is recorded. So this is called as customer profiling. So it's really helpful for organizations to monitor their customers and finally for their analytics to decide different decisions about their business activities. So the same things, right? So this is how to build. It's not that important. Some advantages. So this final section is about integrating these digital business activities into functional activities. So what comes to your mind? We discussed these things previously. When it comes to an organization, there are a number of functional areas. What are the examples? When it comes to functional, accounting and finance, we have accounts department, finance department, HR, marketing, research and development, production, procurement, and so on. There are a number of functional areas. So the business activities are linked with these different functional areas. So the efficiency of these functional areas are enhanced with the support of these e-business activities. So this is really important, this knowledge. Being a manager within an organization in a particular functional area, you can think of how you get the benefit of this particular engagement in my function. Because assume that your company, you are doing online business and you have virtual customers, you have profiling, everything. So being an accountant, how I can get the use of this e-business? Right? And being a procurement manager, how I can get the use of this? And how I can integrate my particular system to this one as well. Maybe that we have our own accounting system, accounting package, or maybe we have the ERP system. So then we can link some of the things, or we can make add-ons to our system. Then we can have that information as well about sales, or maybe about customer demand, right? So that is also important. So the CRM system, digital marketing, so these are really important for marketing and sales, for them to make decisions. And supply chain management, and also for accounting, automating, for data-driven insights. So it's really important for us. So we can think of how we incorporate these things to these aspects as well. Okay, so these final two slides are also really important. It gives the overall, understanding on the strategic importance of e-commerce on business and common challenges that businesses have. These final two slides, please go through them, right? So we have to always think of whatever the thing we do, maybe e-commerce, we join with e-markets, whatever, we have to think whether these things are aligned with our strategies or the goals of the organization. And how we get adopt with the changes and how we train our people, and also cultural shifts. Companies cultural shifts with the technology, with the adoption of technology. So being managers, we have to think of how it influences us. So those are strategic factors. And the common challenges may be compatibility issues, cost, security, and some of the visibility issues, right? Okay. This is the last activity. So as we have few minutes, shall we do this? Right? Actually, but just go through this one, right? There will be one question, one or two questions in the areas of e-commerce, e-business, e-markets. So please practice with the questions that I give within the class and also as activities. Think of this. Okay. Okay, then do this as homework. Another. अनिवार्य करना है. Do this as a homework then, and online students do this as a homework, and